My dad dated younger than me, so I went older than him. I'm 22. My dad is 48. That number is important. Last year, right after my parents finalized their divorce, my dad announced he was seeing someone. I expected a woman his age, maybe a coworker, maybe someone from the gym. Instead, he brought home Ashley, a 20-year-old. Yes, 2 years younger than me. I genuinely thought it was a joke at first, like maybe he was testing the waters before introducing the real girlfriend. Nope, he proudly called her his girlfriend, sat next to her at dinner, put his arm around her, smiled at her like a teenager who just got his first crush to text back. It was nauseating. She giggled at everything he said, even the dumb stuff, especially the dumb stuff. He suddenly started dressing differently too. New clothes, new haircut, acting younger. Meanwhile, my mom was still arguing with lawyers about alimony, and he was buying Ashley jewelry and taking her on trips. Ashley, for her part, seemed completely unaware of how weird this all was. She'd try to talk to me like we were peers, gave me advice about college, about dating, about skincare. She once said, "Oh my god, you should totally try this face mask I saw on TikTok." And I just stared at her thinking, you were literally in high school yesterday. The age math alone made my skin crawl. The breaking point came when my dad called a family meeting. He sat me and my 16-year-old brother down and announced that Ashley would be moving in with him. My brother stayed glued to his phone like this wasn't happening. I sat there nodding while internally screaming. That's when something in me snapped. If my dad wanted to pretend age gaps were totally normal and not weird at all, fine. I decided to play along. I downloaded a dating app and set the age range way up. I wasn't even subtle about it. That's how I found Robert. He's 55, divorced, owns a construction company, has 2 kids who are 24 and 26. He's confident, calm, and actually listens when I talk. Also, important detail, he looks better than my dad, even though he's older. What started as pure spite turned into something unexpectedly nice. A few weeks later, I brought Robert to my cousin's birthday party. The look on my dad's face when I introduced my boyfriend was something I will cherish forever. Robert showed up in a clean button-down, drove a nice truck, shook my dad's hand firmly, and immediately started chatting about work and his kids. My dad looked like his brain short-circuited. Ashley kept whispering, "Is that really her boyfriend?" Robert, meanwhile, was being aggressively polite, calling my dad sir, complimenting me on how mature I am, talking about responsibility and stability. I could feel my dad shrinking. A week later, my dad called me, clearly panicking. "What are you doing with that old man? He's older than me. This is inappropriate." I laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Wow, Dad, funny how age suddenly matters." He tried to explain it was different because he's the man. That made me laugh harder. Robert and I kept showing up everywhere. My brother's basketball game, family dinners, sitting directly behind my dad and Ashley, Robert's arm around me, bringing me flowers. My dad couldn't even focus on the game. The final straw was when Robert came to pick me up from my dad's house. He knocked on the door, boots on, leather jacket, full dad energy. When my dad answered, Robert smiled and said, "Good evening, sir. I'm here for your daughter. I'll have her home by midnight." My dad just stood there. Ashley peeked from behind him looking confused. Robert even offered to shake his hand again. My dad mumbled something and shut the door. That night, my phone blew up with texts, asking if I was serious, saying this was ridiculous, embarrassing. I told him I'd consider dumping Robert when he stopped dating someone young enough to be my little sister. 3 months later, my dad finally broke up with Ashley. Apparently, she was tired of him obsessing over my relationship instead of paying attention to her. I didn't say "I told you so," but I thought it very loudly.